I was told not to do that by Varun, but he's not here, so he stopped me. Although maybe he is here. And so anyways, there's an API for the calendar, so you can start doing integrations with it. And there's a lot going on under the hood here. I know people who are integrating it with chiropractic software. People are doing mind-body integrations, all kinds of stuff. So I think in the coming weeks, there'll be some huge, and sorry about the terrible banging behind me. I know you can hear it. But anyways, a bunch of stuff coming on the integrations front that I think is going to be awesome.
Awesome.
Super cool. Yeah. And I think I got an urgent request from the dev team for a new video for new calendars. So that always means it's coming out of beta fast.
Yeah.
So,
somehow, some way, I think they actually might be waiting on that video to launch it or something, because I wouldn't, of course, but they probably are.
yeah, I had a long call with Shaw yesterday. We walked through everything. So hopefully today I'll have that video together and it'll be out in the wild very soon. Steph, any updates on when the new calendar should be officially launched? Okay, there we go. Will, hey all, looking to set up an out of hours and inside hours trigger for incoming calls that are not picked up by a front desk.
You could set up 2 campaigns that roll through each other and trigger off the addition of those 2 campaigns.
Yeah.
That probably would work.
I do want to reset it up, and it was not
doesn't
working
work because
I assumed.
Does it hit both campaigns and fires on both?
It does fire on both, but it doesn't actually put them in. So
maybe like Zapier for the win for now.
Got it.
Yeah, that'll be easy enough.
Cool. Thanks.
But throw it on the ideas board if it's not there. If the community agrees and votes it up, sounds like something we could build in.
I mean, that'll be something that probably comes in with the call stuff later on, where it's like, because people want after hours routing, right? It just seems like a very obvious kind of thing. You can do this sort of kind of now, but but I'm wondering, you can roll and hit the campaign steps at those different hours, but if you're trying to trigger off of them being added, I feel like you're going to get double triggered. So that's the question. Are you trying to get a campaign step to fire, or are you just trying to trigger off the addition to the campaign?
Addition to the campaign. Just fire one campaign to the other with one step.
Yeah.
Both having one step.
What's the step?
Just a text message back.
Wait, that should work. So you add me to the first campaign. Oh, and the window needs to be an if window. So like, let's say it's like easy, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? If it's Monday through Friday, 8 to 8 or whatever it is, then go here, and then set the next campaign to be the logical opposition to that. So Saturday, Sunday, whatever, right? And then I'll hit the first campaign. The if window will cycle. If I'm outside that window, it's just going to roll me to the next campaign, and then I should match. That should absolutely work. I've seen that work 100 times.
Okay. I'll look at it again. I set it up a while ago. See if it goes.
All right, so the next 2 questions, I see one in Facebook, one in Zoom, that are the same thing, I think. Visual Builder for funnels and funnel folders. I think this all relates to the new update that's coming.
Yeah, so October will be the workflow builder, which is what I think they're asking about.
Mm-hmm.
Funnel folders, I don't know where, I don't have the foggiest clue where that is.
Well, every time, I feel like when it gets brought up, you mention, hey, the new visual builder is coming, and so that's going to change the whole landscape. So it's like, will we need folders? Will this be, because triggers and campaigns will be kind of in the same place? Oh, but this is funnel folders, sorry.
Yeah, funnel folders I think will always be needed. So this will just be like, hey, I've got 1,000 funnels. I want to put them in different folders. That will get done. Don't get me wrong. I don't see anyone not working on that. I need to ask Varun, like, that's deep in the funnel team. So from that, I don't have a visual on that. So I'll have to ask him, like, or you can just ask him if you have a line into him. But just in terms of like high level items, it's workflow builder, drag and drop email builder, which I saw a demo for this morning. It's looking smoking nice.
Ooh, nice.
And then and then of course the AI upgrades. And then after the AI upgrades, the next step for us will logically be bringing in a rollover component and bringing in humans to help.
Gotcha.
So I think that will be, I mean, if at the end of this year, if all we do is maximize the number of leads that can get converted to customers, if that's all we do, I'll be really proud of that and happy about it. Like if we don't do billing and we don't do social media posting and we just convert everybody into customers for your customers, like, okay, I'll be cool with that. Cause I'm pretty sure that's actually what they care about anyways. That's really our focus. That's really what we want to be known for. That's what we want to own as a product. And so, and for us, it's the nurture flow, it's the appointment flow. Those are the flows that we're looking for. But by the end of the year, I'd like to get into a scenario where as an agency, gosh, I love that sound. As an agency, you can just hand off that process one way or another and have that whole process done sort of automatically, both with combinations of bots and humans.
So are you having a new super office installed or a man cave?
No, my wife is getting the remodel that she's always wanted. So
nice.
That she's been saving up for years, which apparently means my entire bottom floor of my house has been taken down to the studs almost. And so for months this will be going on. It's the worst thing I've ever.
You just get kicked out to the spare bedroom for some reason.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. Well, I'm sure that'll happen too. But I mean, for now, it's just a construction.
Happy life.
That's what I've been told.
Amen. James, any update to the two-step order form allowing a free item? I feel like this is a Varun question.
Yeah, I did warn Varun we have our weekly Q&A, but the guy has to eat sometime, so he's eating dinner.
Hopefully, maybe he'll hop on, and James, we can catch him at the end.
Yeah.
Todd, this is from a daily Q&A that I punted to the weekly Q&A. Some voice geek stuff questions. Fire away, Todd.
In terms of telephony, I'm finding there's actually a few of us in the community that have our own SIP trunk connections that we'd love to be able to connect into this as an alternative to Twilio or anything else like that, where we already have infrastructure that we've used and managed before running call centers. It just makes sense to be able to tap into some of those connections that we have in terms of wholesaling those things into our existing account. Is that a possibility?
I mean, no.
No.
I mean,
okay.
Twilio supports SIP trunking for the record, right? So I suspect there's a way to do that. I understand there's probably some added cost there, but I mean, you're like way out in left field on that use case. I mean, I
know it is.
I mean, I'm a software engineer. I used to deal with SIP trunks all the time, blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But the number of people who meet that sort of spec has got to be like, there's got to be like 4 of you or 10 of you, right? And so it's just super
yes and
hard.
no. I think you'd be surprised. how many people who are running an agency.
Okay, well, throw that out in the group. Hey, everybody,
right.
Who here has a SIP trunk that they would like to pull in? Because if there's a lot of you, well, then ideas list it, bada bing, bada boom, we'll make it happen for you.
Totally get it.
So, and I'm not down on that idea for the record. I just am trying to think through like, okay, of all the things
I understand. You got to prioritize.
How do we do it? Right.
Yep.
But I love that you do have a call center, because when we talk about rolling over to humans, we're going to take a marketplace approach to this. So the goal is to bring in people like you to help provide for the rest of the group.
Right. Cool.
All right, next up, Steph, any native or trickery way to send out a review request via campaign? Steph, I'm going to throw a link in the chat to a high-level how-to that we did on how to build review gate flows, which will answer your question and more. So check that out because it's totally doable. Okay, Debbie, are we able to integrate Go High Level with other messaging software like WhatsApp, WeChat, or Line?
Not yet, but only WhatsApp, because Mark Zuckerberg is not letting me in yet. He and I we are scheduled to talk never, but I'm hoping that at some point in the future, he just opens the floodgates to that. Those other ones, I have no idea. Does anyone use those?
So WeChat is like the monster one in China, so millions of people use that one, but I don't
Yes.
think many
Hundreds
in the
of
US
millions
do.
probably, right? We'll get
Line is the big one in Japan too. Every country's kind of got their own thing, but Line is huge in Asia, and WeChat's huge in Asia.
Yeah, my clients, they're using that here in the States as well, and then they were just wondering if it's possible to have all that integrated into Go High Level so they can really see like their
it's certainly something we would entertain if we put it on the ideas list, it gets enough votes, and there's an API that we can actually use that they'll let us use. Then that's what's holding us back on WhatsApp.
Awesome, sounds good.
Yeah, and so for the record, I know I see this a lot, and I was one of these people. You go to Twilio and they're like, you can do WhatsApp with Twilio, but you can't yet, right, Sean? Like, it's a beta thing. I think you can build like test things or whatever, but it's not.
You still have to take it through the review process at Facebook, and what we've been told is that that they're limited to customer service applications, which I would be happy actually in general to what's the right word? Say that I was doing, even if I wasn't. I think that's called fibbing. But the bigger issue is not that. The bigger issue is that the connection process then is they have to log into Twilio and connect through Twilio. It would just be a monster nightmare of a flow. And I know there are some apps out there that have gotten access to it somehow, some way. We're still working on it. I mean, I fill out that form continuously. I'm still hoping Google turns on Business Messenger for all companies without asking, and then all the traffic will shift. But because we have access to that API.
Have we moved on that? Is that coming soon? Is anybody working on that yet?
Yep, it's in progress. Although,
sweet.
For the record, I did sideline one of the developers on that project to work on the AI stuff, because I actually think the AI stuff, net, all these channels will plug into that, and the AI stuff will be probably the coolest thing of the year for some people.
Gotcha. Steve, you have a quick question. You want to hop off mute?
Yeah, and if there's already a tutorial video that I missed, just tell me that and I'll watch it, because I know that that's annoying when you repeat stuff that you already have videos on. But so I have multiple companies, and then I'm also selling my products to different niches. So for my marketing company, I'm putting all these funnels and snapshots into it, and now I'm finding that some of the triggers and stuff are getting, cross-fed. And so I didn't know if there's, I had somebody in the group say, oh, we'll just keep creating new business accounts for each one of your things. And I'm like, well, that'd be like 15. And I already do that. I have an insurance company and a real estate company and now a marketing company. And now anytime anybody leaves me a review, it goes on all of them because my Facebook is connected to all of them. So I just wondered, is there a way, and like I said, if there's a video, just send me that link, but to isolate, like, in my marketing, when I'm marketing to insurance agents and I'm marketing to real estate agents and then I'm marketing, to other small businesses, to isolate all those snapshots so that they don't get intermingled.
That happens as well. I just wanted to add that I have that issue as well.
So you build every single asset for all three businesses in one location.
No. I mean, like, I have a Skeet real estate business account, a Skeet insurance account, but in my marketing account, like, and I want to market to other insurance agencies. I want to market to other real estate companies. I want to market like SAA, the whole program and so I build those out, but then the triggers, it's messing them up. Like, it might send a real estate message out on an insurance ad, and I go through and I'm like, how did that even happen? Like, I didn't have a trigger set up for that on that. So
I guess that doesn't sound normal. So I guess that just sounds like something where, so if you
my response was going to be to put filters on your triggers. It sounds like your triggers aren't getting granular enough.
Okay.
Well, but I almost think he's thinking like the campaign shouldn't even exist in this account. How would that person get such a message? Right?
No, it does exist in there. I just don't know how.
Well, so if you want to, okay, so here's what I would do. Like, if you're like, okay, this message came from this campaign, I don't want that, right? This person should not get in that campaign, right? There's a count next to the campaign that shows you how many people are in it. You click that count, it shows everybody in that campaign, and then it tells you how that person got there. So if it was a trigger, it says trigger. That trigger is linked. If you click it, it'll take you to the trigger that put them in there, and then you can be like, aha, that's how that person got in there. Oh snap, now I see why. All right, now I'll figure out how to fix it. Like, should I add a filter? Should I do this? Should I do that? Right? It'll tell you why the system took that action. And then you should be able to logically deduce how to change up what you're doing so that it doesn't do that.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's when the status changes in the pipeline, and then when it goes to pipeline, like for follow-up, it doesn't know what, it sends the wrong thing. You know, same with my real estate one. Somebody might be a seller and they'll get a buyer follow-up.
Yeah. So I mean, what's happening is your triggers are just misconfigured, right? So like, I'll just briefly walk you through, like if I were you and this was my situation, this is how I would debug it. So I would jump in here and I'll just randomly choose a campaign. And so let's just say, like, I don't know, there's 8,000 people in here, or what's something that happens on a regular basis? I don't know, Q&A or something. Let's just say someone got in this account at this campaign, whatever it is. And I'm like, oh shoot, why are you even in here? You shouldn't be in here. I'd click this link right here and it would show me, oh, this campaign's old, sorry. Let me find something a little more, here, how about this one? Okay, cool. So I'd be like, oh, dang it. Why is this guy in here? Shoot. Oh, here it is. He got put in by this trigger. Click. Okay, let's go look at what trigger put him in here and then analyze why, if that's the wrong thing, what should I be doing instead, right? So it tells you exactly what created that person in that campaign. So then you need to look at your trigger and say, oh, you know what, wrong calendar. Oh, or you know what, I should filter on a custom field, or, you know, whatever, right? You should be able to deduce from that flow, like what you're doing wrong.
Okay. Yeah, like when you said it's a pipeline move, it sounds like you need a filter of like, only if they have this tag and I move them to that stage, do I want it to go into that campaign? Right. It sounds like a matter of just getting more granular with the condition side of your triggers.
That's what I was going to say. So maybe instead of creating another pipeline, I would just create tags to make sure that that tag then is associated with the correct trigger.
Yep. Or you could have multiple pipelines. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of ways to do it.
Okay. But if it just, the way I always backtrack on all this is, so two things. You can see who's in the campaign and you can see precisely why it got there, right? And then the other part of this is, let's say there's somebody, I'll often get the other thing, like, why in the world is this opportunity card in this pipeline? I didn't do this, there's a problem. So down at the bottom here, it says, oh, well, it was created by this trigger. It was created at this time. Oh, what trigger? Okay, click. And now you can see exactly which trigger created the opportunity. So again, you should be able to debug or deduce how this happened and then find a correction for it.
Okay.
And then on top of it, we're coming out with a workflow builder in October, and I think that'll also help some people to simplify their process.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Mary, before we get to you, I saw a couple of questions in Facebook. Sean, do you want to talk about timing around inbound calling?
Yeah, so, I mean.
Hey, be quiet.
Okay, I'll be quiet now. I'm quiet. Sorry, David.
Sorry, I didn't realize my microphone was on. The kids are shouting
you didn't mean me? Oh, okay.
Sorry, it was my kids I was shouting at.
No, it's all good. I want to do the same thing to the guys downstairs. Stop installing the floor, damn it. You're too loud. Yeah, so, okay, so inbound calling. So we're hiring a brand new team for that. So what I did is, what did we do? I pulled someone off. I pulled some off another project to do the worm transfer thing because I thought that was really important to everybody. We got it done, and we're just backfilling by adding another team in there. You know, inbound calling will happen. It will happen sometime in the next 3 months. I don't know exactly when, but I think that's a realistic time frame. You know, I still think the biggest challenge, I mean, that we run into every day is the fall off in the nurture process. And that to me is still the thing I'm trying to master first. But like I said, we have a big dev team now and we're just hiring more engineers. We just hired 2 more. And so we're literally hiring all the time. We don't stop anymore because we just find that by the time we need, by the time we find someone great, we bring them on. Good news is we're hiring better than we used to. I'm blown away with the candidates we talk to now. They're all like really, really good. So, I mean, I do think everybody we're bringing on will be exceptional. So I think what'll happen realistically is we'll have the phone team in place sometime next month, and then they'll get to work, and inbound calling will be the first thing they work on, because that's kind of the logical next step now that we have the warm transfer. And then the question on that is just, there's the debate around, do we just, like, the quick and easy solution is we could enable it quickly for the account you're sitting in. But I think for most people, they're going to want it to pop regardless of what account they're in and shift automatically to the account where the call is coming from. So we'll probably do it that way out of the gate, because otherwise I think people will be unhappy with that solution. So that's probably more to know, but that's where we're at.
Okay, Jason in Facebook, is the campaign drag and drop builder on the roadmap? Yeah, October 1st is the target, right? Yep, Sean's shaking his head. Okay. Cole, is AI still on track to launch in 2 weeks to high-level accounts?
Yes. So we have 2 people on this full time. One of them, his name is Monik. He's the guy who is doing the conversational booking flow. So again, taking a community approach here, we really believe in trying to enable all of you to come in and be creative and create solutions around the marketplace. So, you know, we could have taken the position like, oh, we'll make bots for everything, right? Plumber bots and lawyer bots and doctor bots, but we just think that's nuts. So, and we just, you know, we don't think that highly of ourselves. And we honestly think that as a community, we're way more powerful than as an individual. So our goal is to bring this out in a way that democratizes this technology. So if you haven't seen Dialogflow and you don't care about it, don't bother to even pull it up. But if you're one of those people who already knows what it is or really is pumped at the idea of building AI bots, well, then go check it out. But the idea is really simple. 2 or 3 weeks from now, we'll have 2 things come out. One, the fully conversational booking flow with a little that's got really great copy to it, and you'll be able to modify all that copy, by the way. But the gist of that is, if you don't know what that is, that's the ability to say, instead of saying, hey, would you like to book an appointment? Yes, here's a calendar link. It'll be, would you like to book an appointment? Sure. You know, here are 3, you know, I've got tomorrow at 2 and Wednesday at 3 and Monday at 4. Do any of these times work for you? And then the person can say, I'll take Monday. And the system will be smart enough to know that means Monday at 4. And it will say, great, we've got you all booked in for Monday. We'll see you then, right? That's conversational booking flow. And then the Dialogflow piece will be, you can go off in Dialogflow and build any bot you darn well please. And you can bring that in essentially as both a campaign step and also the ability to have it sort of ever present on the account, because it's sort of engageable out of the gate when a new lead comes in, but also potentially engageable down the road, because someone may book an appointment and then later say, oh, I couldn't get a babysitter. Can I bring my kids to the appointment, for example? And the bot would still be ready to fire up and answer that question back. And we really think, I mean, I've behind the scenes already seen people like, we had Quentin on recently in a Spotlight Q&A. We have Matt DeSeno coming on tomorrow. There's some people who have already created some fantastic bots that are really high performance. And I think if we do this in a really cool communal way, we'll maximize like the outcome across the board, not just in general, but niche wise. Because I know right now, you know, Quentin is building industry specific bots around different verticals. I think Matt has done the same thing. And I think that's what we'll see across the board, because a dentist and a dentist and orthodontist are different, right? Maybe slightly, but if you really understand that niche, you know, you can bring out an orthodontist bot that's going to outperform the general dentist bot. So that's kind of why we went the way we did with the way we're going.
Sean, just to interrupt, if you don't mind me asking. So when it comes to that, like, how does an integrator come in and integrate with this? So like when you say it's like available across, let's say, a whole account,
yeah,
does it happen trigger based, or it's just like something that we're like, you're going to pass that information to our endpoints that will like,
yeah, so
Dialogflow endpoint? So
the idea would be one of two integration points. One is like a campaign. So you can sort of specify like bot on, bot goes through and bot's done, right? And, you know, we'll probably have an idle, like, I think the easy way to do it is just idle it out, right? So you throw me in, it tries to get me through the campaign. And then at some point that conversation idles out and that step then just keeps going, right? And then that bot's off. So then if I fire back later on, it's not going to attempt to do anything. But realistically, if you're doing a great job, like that bot should actually be able to handle both the campaign-esque style flow, but also the every other time flow. So it'll be kind of more like a company level I think, integration point where you could say for this location, I want this bot to just always be listening to all conversations and try to take a whack at anything that comes in. And remember, bots are the bots have context, so the bots will know like what your previous conversation set was.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm not a Dialogflow bot expert. I was gonna say unfortunately, but I just don't think I have the brain space for it. But there are people who are, and it's really cool, right? Because if you've talked to the bot before, the bot remembers who you are, and the bot remembers the conversation you've had, and the subsequent conversations will rely upon the context that it already has. And so it'll be neat to watch how people can build up on those conversations versus someone, let's just say, sailing out a question initially, like, hey, can I bring kids to the appointment, right? That's like, and that might be a generic answer. Yes, yes, you're allowed to bring children to our facility. I don't know. I don't have that example in my head, but then somebody who's booked an appointment already, maybe the answer would be like, yeah, no problem. Next Friday when you come in, you can absolutely bring your kids, right? And you can really change that response based on the context.
Okay, yeah, it's because like a big part of Dialogflow, at least on the dev side, is like that the whole idea of a session. So like when I know who that user is,
correct.
You guys have to pass that along to me, so then I could give like historical data. So like I built out ordering bots, right, for example, where they could dynamically order off the menu, but then I need to get context. Number one, when HighLevel is passing that information to me, and then obviously they have to pass it contextually, so I could kind of look back on my side. But yeah, I just want to understand like,
so
are you guys
we're gonna hand. I mean, so first of all, get on Slack and talk to Snail. That's what you need to do, and do it now so you can show them what you need. Because we'll build toward you, right? But you'll absolutely have access to the context because our goal is to hand off to your bot, and your bot will have all that. I mean, so you're the guy who actually owns the session data way more than us, right?
Okay.
We're just passing the
and
message
then you're going
over.
to give someone, let's say I built a bot, the ability for me to or others to come and install that bot onto their system.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. That we've already thought through. So the idea there is, so the goal is, again, make this communal. So if you have the ordering bot, you can then, I mean, at first it'll be ad hoc, right? Like, hey, everybody, spotlight session. We're going to talk about this amazing order bot. But eventually we'll come up with like a marketplace where you can actually list in app. Because again, I'm telling you, I think you put enough smart people on this problem and we'll just crush this across the board. And then it does need to be vertical specific. And so we need everybody thinking about this and all minds on it. And I think it's a great way. It's a win-win. I think bot creators we can create a revenue stream for bot creators, and we can create an amazing outcome for agency owners who can then actually monetize the bots themselves by offering a done-for-you nurturing service that's 80% of the time is gonna close the deal. And then again, like I said, later in the year we'll bring in a human overflow component for that last 20%.
Cool, sweet.
Can you tell us how to get on that Slack channel, Sean?
Yes, I will. I will drop a link in the chat right now.
Hey, since you're talking about bots, I was going to raise my hand here, but I'm going to jump in. Can you just explain to me, like how that works? Is it a text conversation back and forth? Is it real time?
So to start with it'll be a real time. So I encourage everybody here to go to YouTube right now and search Dialogflow example or Dialogflow demo. But in essence, we'll enable it on various channels to begin with. It'll primarily be text-based. There is a really amazing, awesome video that will blow your socks off of Sundar Pichai, who's the CEO of Google, doing a cool voice thing. The sad part about that voice thing is I've never seen it since then. So it feels very vaporware to me. And that was 2 years ago, by the way, for the record. This is like the whole negotiate a haircut bot. And I think they do have it deployed someplace in the wild, but I have a Google Pixel and I've never seen it. So I feel like it's missing something. So I think the text-based stuff will honestly be the better channel. And not just because of the bots, by the way, also because of humans. I think humans are more prone to chat these days than they are to talk anyways. So anyhow, all that to say, we'll enable it on SMS first. Next stop is going to be Messenger. Instead of trying to go the ManyChat route and do the survey drip flow, I think it'd be much cooler to see this rock and roll on Messenger through as a replacement for ManyChat. And I really think it's possible.
So, me not being technical. So, I've talked with you before, Sean, about live chat versus the text chat thing, right? And there's a thread in your Facebook page now about that. The thing that kind of bugs me is like I can send you guys a message, and then I'm on my desktop working in my office, and then you're replying to my phone. right, in a text. And like, I just think it just breaks up the conversation. It's no longer a consistent conversation, you know, from my perspective anyway. It started on the PC, and now
I don't think you're wrong. Although I don't think you're wrong on that point, but I think you're wrong on the greater point, which is the number of people who are just sitting there and who can ninja get back to you. Sorry, it's not realistic. Doesn't happen a lot.
I get that, and I use, like, currently I'm using MailChimp, right, and that's a live chat environment for support. It just says hang on. Again, I think we could do things like, hey, if it goes more than 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, says, hey, leave us a message, we'll get back to you. You know, there's ways to automate that. Hey, I'm not gonna just let you sit here forever. But I guess I'm trying to figure out how the bot conversational thing, how that either is a solution to this issue I bring up. And again, I'm bringing it up because
that's not what we're targeting here. So here's what I like. Okay. Here's what I really, really want to solve first. Like, if I could just solve one thing for everybody, it's really simple. You run an ad, you get a person to opt in, and you try to get them to book on a calendar, or they don't. Right?
Right.
The way I think about this is so what do we deliver to clients? Like, what would be the perfect solution? It'd be awesome if, like, dentist, lawyer, doctor, lawnmower guy, whatever, you're like, hey, guess what? You know what we did for you last month? We put 100 appointments on your calendar, and we know that 95% of them showed up. Wow, we're amazing. Right?
Okay, so again, that's from that side, but I'm thinking about, like, the support side for a business that's supporting their customers, being able to reach a customer support person. I'm approaching it from the other side.
I'll go there next. That's fine. Like, eventually we'll do, like, real-time web chat style stuff, but that's the first thing I want to solve for. So when I'm talking about AI bots and everything else, that's like my first line of thought, because to me, that's where all the money is, right? Everybody hires a marketing agency to get them customers. That's the number one reason you hire a marketing agency. You want a customer, you're like, oh, I got to really solve that customer service problem. The first thing you think of is not marketing agency, right? Marketing agencies get you more customers. And how do we get more customers? Well, we run ads almost 90% of the time, or we do SEO and we drive people to websites. But one way or another, you're trying to get an opt-in, right? And once you get that opt-in, the idea here is you've got to nurture them to the next point. And that next point is almost always an appointment. And where I see this fall down is half the time someone will write back and say, does it come in blue? And then the next thing that happens is crickets.
Right. See, I get gone. No, that makes a lot of sense. Again, I guess I'm different in the standpoint that I really don't want to position myself or think of myself as a marketing agency. I want to provide these tools to businesses. That my focus is a little bit different, right? And I'm coming from a software company where I serviced an industry and I sold them DMS systems. So that's where I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm like a bolt-on for those guys to put products in them.
And we're not gonna. And I don't think you'll lose. I don't think that use case is far beyond this. In fact, you should go talk to Tom Bristol. I mean, I think Tom's running this use case down way faster than we are. And actually, Tom Bristol will hook this up. He'd be a great guy to talk to right here, right now. He could fix this problem for you on the customer service side because he's doing more of a live chat on the website kind of thing. But the vast majority of our customers, as far as I know them, and feel free everyone on this call to tell me I'm wrong, but they're marketing agencies whose goal it is to get their customers more customers. And they're going to fundamentally, in my opinion, be judged, therefore, on their ability to deliver on that promise. And that method, that function, is in effect run an offer, generate a lead, and move that lead onto a calendar for either a live appointment or a phone appointment. And if everyone, the vast majority of our customers can do that consistently for their clients and prove to them that they're doing that consistently for their clients, they're going to all win and make lots of money. Because that's what every small business owner wants.
That's fair. That's fair. If that's the focus for the use case, then that makes sense.
That's where we'll start, right? And I promise you, as soon as I crush that, as soon as everyone's like, whoa, it's amazing. HighLevel insta converts every lead into an appointment and they show up. That's fantastic. I will totally move on to more customer service applications. I have no problem with that at all. We do that for ourselves. Right here, right now, there's a guy asking me, when MailChimp and others like to send out email, it's received in Gmail's promotion tab. How does HighLevel fix that problem? And, I have bad news for him. No one can fix that problem, but I'm happy that it's just chilling out there because I think he asked it at 10:59, which is 40 minutes ago. And I'm happy I can get back to them somehow. Now, could I put a bot in there that could have fixed that problem? Probably not, actually. I actually think this is where the ultimate solution, both on the customer service side and on the lead side, is having a rollover where someone can immediately get back to them when they ask a question like that that's just frankly out of left field.
No, that makes sense. And I'll just hit you one more quick one, then I'll shut up since I'm on the phone. So there's been a lot of talk lately about websites and building in GHL and having the builder and using it, for that purpose. So what about like the addition of some of the different widgets, like, having sliders and things that kind of aren't there today? Like, where are you guys on that whole thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, we have 4 people between memberships and funnels. The top funnel guy got pulled to do the email builder. So he's out for another month till that's done. The membership guy is working really hard in getting memberships in the snapshots. And then we have 2 other people that if Varun was on this call, I could ask them exactly what the heck they're working on. And I guarantee you they're working on some big list of additions to the funnel. I would be surprised, by the way, if they've been releasing those and I just haven't even kept up and done a good job getting videos out on them. So the answer is I don't know what their next items are, but I guarantee you we have 2 full-time employees that are just sitting there adding things to the funnel all the time, and the website builder.
So October, any sense at all of that?
Let me ask Varun.
I mean, I want to replace MailChimp and I want to replace WordPress or do the builder.
Hey Varun, when are sliders coming to the website builder? Right? Is that?
Yeah, sliders and whatever other widgets. I mean, there's social share, all kinds of stuff.
Social sharing was in, I saw a social button in the email builder.
Okay.
But I mean, you could do, if you want to give me a list, I'll run that down. In fact, the other thing you could do is join the Slack channel. The person who runs that project, his name is Shivam. He's our product guy on that. He could probably give you the roadmap for the funnel builder specifically.
Well, if it'll help
I'm sorry, I don't have it.
I could send you a video.
Please don't. Please send it to Shivam.
Okay.
Please, you could. But if you want to get a faster answer, please send it to Shivam, because I'd rather I'm just gonna have to send it to him anyways. I'll be like, hey, look at this great video from Glenn. Boom. Please watch.
Okay.
In the meantime, use ElfSite. It's another software program, works beautifully with HighLevel, and it allows you to put those widgets in.
And see, there you go. And see, there's another answer, right? Like, so our goal, just so everybody knows, is to take everything we have and level it up. But between now and the end of time, there'll always be something that we don't have. And I love the idea of just trying to open this bad boy up and get to, a place where if you absolutely need something, you can bring it in. And that's another piece of this, just so everybody knows, is, and if you're not on this list, let Rob and Alex know and he can add this. In fact, we have a meeting coming up on Friday. We have a brand new developer council where we're bringing in everybody who wants to do API development. We're hiring a full-time resource just to work on API development for everybody on that council. And the appointment API is the first of this. And the idea is to really run this down so that people can bring in anything they want from an external source. We even have somebody right now who we're working on being able to one-click import funnels that they've collected from the web.
All right. Well, I mean, I'll take a look. I want to use as much everything inside of Go to HighLevel. That's the whole key.
Yeah. No, and we.
I have WordPress. I don't need.
We appreciate that, right? So I promise we're working very hard to fix that problem.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Glenn, there's also, there's tons of options out there. I'll send you a link too, but there's called like light boxes, there's sliders. You could just do a JS and HTML. It'd probably take you 5 minutes, even if you're not a coder. So there's tons of easy.
Good job, James. See, I agree with that too, by the way.
Yeah. James, I'll be happy to take that. Sure.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. We are getting close to time and we've got a bunch of questions. So let's try to fly through them here.
Chase is such a buzzkill, man. I could do this all day long. I got a whole
all right. Well, we could all transfer to Sean's Zoom and you guys can hang out all day long. Cool. Mary, it sounds like, that you're using an immediate step. Immediate step will disregard all windows and campaign, the event start date and campaign. It just goes immediately. So instead of using that, use after 0 minutes.
Oh, hey, sorry, Chase, I'm gonna interrupt you.
Go for it.
Just so everybody knows, the other thing that I'm going to talk about later this week, because we're going to launch it, is we're adding the showed status to appointments. I always used to tell people if they don't know show, they show, but I don't think people like that answer. So we're going to add showed. And then next week, we're going to launch appointment stats. So you can finally do things like see how many appointments you're booking and what percentage are showing, just in case you care about any of that stuff. I think it's kind of a big miss that we've had for a while, and we're going to hustle that out so that people can start showing that to their clients. So anyways, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's massive. So that makes it even more important to be building the follow-up flow. So we really need to formalize that into a better into a better course. But yeah, okay,
We do.
sweet. Melissa, some are finding that the emails are triggering a copy of that email to the client's forwarding email if the contact is already in HighLevel. If it's a new contact, the email does not come into conversations, but does not trigger off a copy to the forwarding email.
It does come into the conversations, but it doesn't trigger the forwarding.
So what you're saying is, if I write in just out the gate and I'm not a contact, it will put it in the conversation, but it's not going to forward. But if I'm an existing contact, it does forward, right? Yeah, that's a bug. Let's file it.
Okay.
All right, Steve, along with that, if you have a lot in a company with funnels of snapshot, what's the best way to isolate them? So Steve, I think that's just folders. We're gonna roll out more folders at some point. Debbie,
that was part of that question you answered when I asked about those. So.
Gotcha. Cool. Debbie, are we able to search by address? A client of mine who's mainly doing commercial only search by address. You should be able to in Smart Lists, right? I'd have to double check it, but check out Smart Lists in the filters. If you can't do what you need to do, then open up a ticket and we'll direct it to the right dev. Anas, for the AI part, integrating dialog flow. Okay, so we talked about dialog flow. Do we have any videos on debugging an issue with a client's campaign and triggers? I'm not sure, but Sean gave us
one quick throw out there. Like, I worked with a customer yesterday who has been with us for, oh gosh, probably since the beginning. And, you know, we are very aware of the fact that it is easy to get a situation going where, while technically you've set it up wrong, it is hard. It's easy to hurt yourself. The actual solution to this problem is the workflow builder, I promise. For two reasons, not just because it's visual and all that, but because from a functional standpoint, right now, triggers are global in nature. So by definition, they're firing, we're checking every single object. So let's say it's a contact, a conversation trigger, right? A customer reply trigger. That means on every single customer reply coming in, we're firing, checking. So the likelihood that we misfire because of a setup issue is big, right? Versus if they're entering into a workflow, it constrains them to that workflow. So it's basically like, are you in this workflow? If not, nothing matters in here. If you are in this workflow, then let's talk. So it really makes sort of like, it really makes it harder, I think, to make a mistake. And if you do make a mistake, it's just easier to see where that mistake is. And so along with the workflow builder being released, we're also in the background as part of the spec, we've spec'd out all this logging so that when this does go live, it's not just going to be like, aha, here's the workflow builder. It's also going to be, here's a big old log trace that you can walk down and see exactly how this person walked through this workflow and why. So you can see where they went wrong. So you can say, oh, okay, aha, they took a left. I wanted them to go right. I can see why. I'll fix that. So that's all part, when I talk about the workflow builder, it's not just this visual builder, it's all these other things. So we've really tried to take a different approach on a go forward basis to development, where we say, okay, instead of just lobbing out the feature and saying good luck, we're really trying to think through all the use cases and going a little more in depth so that what we put out by default is a little more feature packed. And that's what we're going to do here for the workflow builder. So on the trigger side, that doesn't help you in the interim. It's really about trying to walk through the trigger set and figure out why things are doing what they're doing. And hopefully I gave you some tips on how to do that in this call. But I will tell you, there's a better day ahead. Just, let's get to October.
Is there going to be a migration process for that?
Well, no. Okay. So no, because the two will continue to coexist, because there will be use cases for triggers and campaigns forevermore. But I think what will invariably happen is people will start building out workflows sort of instead by default, and it'll shift. It'll be like 90% of the stuff will be workflow based, and then 10% of the time you'll still have things like, I don't know, if someone says, leave me alone, right? You might sort of realistically have a trigger that D&Ds that person or something. I don't know, sort of universally, regardless of what workflow you might be in.
Cool.
Super cool.
Anas, I really have high expectations for you on the dialogue flow part. I just want to make that clear.
Oh, so there's another use case that I want to tell you about.
Yeah,
check out this company called Numa.com.
Oh yeah, somebody else. Who it was? It was Fur.
Yeah, well, so me and Fur were working on it. So I was trying to rebuild it. I rebuilt it just like from the voice side, by trying to figure out how we would interconnect it all within HighLevel. So a call comes in, and then they're able, because the main thing is technically when a call comes in, we could text them right away because we'll have that
well, I was going to say, because
we need
look
to
at
get
their
permission.
screenshot right off the back. It's like, hey, this is Jane Salon. How can we help you with this? This is the same thing as, oh gosh, Ty Austin shot this over to me. There's somebody else who does this too. You could do that thing right now, right?
No, but so the thing is, mainly you want to get consent to be able to text them. So you need to get a verbal consent before, because if you're just going to inbound call without them being as a captured lead, you can't just start texting them right away. So you need to get some sort of consent.
If you call me and I text you back, that's wrong.
In some areas, I think in Canada, I can't do that. I don't know about the US.
Oh, this is,
I don't know if it's the same thing.
This is the United States, man.
TCPA, it requires that consent.
Really?
Yeah.
You called me. Who cares if I call? What's the difference between calling you back and texting you back?
It's all different according to them.
According to who? I take issue with that. But okay, that's fine. We'll figure that out. By the way, just for the record, whoever wrote that law, that makes jack of all sense. You called me. All I did is text you back. It's a different channel. It's still replying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Adina, I have a question that might be quite simple to respond to, but I want to understand the difference between call tracking numbers versus outbound numbers. Not sure why we can have so many outbound numbers for an account. Adina, are you here?
Yes, I am. I'm just not clear on the thing is we have several clients, and we usually use CallRail, and we're trying to migrate it to HighLevel tracking numbers. But we're just not understanding why there's the option of doing, so many outbound numbers versus the tracking numbers. I just want to understand the difference. Why do you have the possibility of using so many outbound numbers? Because we've never used it before, that's why.
Oh, you mean like, for example, like why is it that you can buy 10 numbers?
No. Actually, with the number pool, I get it.
No, that I get. You're saying outside of the number pool, like just in general, why is it that you can buy 10 numbers?
Right.
Because I tried to explain to people that the system was really smart, and that if you had one number and people called into that number, and then that lead was assigned to someone, it would just know to route the call to the person that it was assigned to. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So I explained that like 100 times. And people would just look back at me like with like blank stares. And they were like, yeah, but could I just buy a number for the salesperson, please? And so we just gave in and we said, okay, great. You can buy as many numbers as you want and assign them to salespeople. And lots of people were like, oh, thank God. And they just, they got that.
All right.
So that's why we did it.
Okay, so then so if we want to migrate from CallRail to HighLevel, we should just use the number pools.
Yeah, exactly. The number pools were invented so we could do a CallRail replacement, just like you do with CallRail. So yeah, just roll like that. They should be exactly the same.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
All right, James, our Facebook ad comments channel coming, not for organic, but paid. Yeah, we talked about this couple ideas. There's multiple entries in the ideas board.
Yeah, I am all for doing this.
Cool.
Okay, so does it need to get voted up, or?
I mean, I think so. I mean, again, it's not currently on the immediate roadmap. I mean, I think it's, although normally I would have said, oh, well, this is social media posting, we'll see you next year. But I think this is actually different than that because it's more of a conversation thing. But I feel like, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, does that comment, let's say I comment on a post, does that come into the conversation flow almost like the post is going to be in the left-hand side as the item, not the person? Because without the post as context, do I lose, you know what I'm saying? Am I conversating? I'm trying to think about the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's tough. I know what you're saying.
Am I conversating with the person, or am I conversating with the post? What am I conversating with? Is it like a different type of thing the person said?
The only thing I'm talking about is, so yeah, whenever you create a Facebook ad, it creates an actual post, right?
Yeah,
so it's a post ID, et cetera. So yeah, I get a lot of people, they'll say, hey, I'm interested, or contact me, or learn more or something, but they don't actually
see. I kind of think then to me that feels like a message type, and then somehow because that message type is the post, it would just sort of say like, hey, here's a message from Jenny Smith. and then somehow reference like, it's a type of, from the post, then we put like a link to the post or something. I think that probably would suffice for 99% of people.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Anything just to get notified when the and then you can reply.
That I think is a really easy thing to do. And for the funny record is, I bet you money we actually already get those in the logs from the webhooks we've already installed. We just do nothing with them right now.
That'd be awesome. By the way, I just want to say you guys are awesome. I just saw the beta calendar. Man, it's awesome. I'm pumped.
Good.
So thank you for that.
Yes, of course. And I am trying to get Todd. Who's Todd? Oh, Todd. The location ID is in the URL, friend. So /location/funny ID. That's what I need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Adina, interesting question. In the conversations tab, can it be possible to filter conversations by pipeline? I have users that have access to different pipelines, and this becomes a problem because the conversations are all mixed up.
We do have filters coming to conversations in general, but can you walk through that use case real quick?
Yes. So I have a client, she's an admin, right? And she uses the conversations tab a lot. But when she opens it up, she can see, like, say she has a sales pipeline, and then she has franchises because she also sells franchises. So the conversations are all mixed up. So she wants to be able to filter it by pipeline. See what I'm saying?
Kind of. I mean,
or have
I understand what you're saying. I'm just wondering, like, if someone's like, oh no, I don't really give a darn that so-and-so from pipeline A just wrote me, get rid of that person. I want to focus on talking to people from pipeline B. Like, like why ignore one person versus the other? Why not just click on them?
Because she's responsible for some, because she's responsible for some, for one pipeline, say, and not the other. So, and if you have different
Is she assigned to the lead?
She's assigned to all the leads because she supervises all of them.
Oh,
but she doesn't want, like, she wants to, like, filter conversations to look at the different conversations.
I mean, we do have filters coming to the conversations page because there's lots of good reasons for that. And maybe one of the filters could be people who are in a particular pipeline. I don't see why that's a bad idea at all, actually.
Yeah.
So we'll also have by like type, because some people just want to see like text, or some people just want to see Facebook messages, or some people don't want to see Facebook messages, that kind of thing. So I like that idea. So I'll add that to I'll make sure that the person working on that project gets that put on the board.
All right, thank you.
All right. Let's see here. David, would it be possible for us to route our own conversation channel into the conversation section of HighLevel via API?
Yes, it already is. Check the developer link I dropped. Well, hold on. Let me see if that developer link has it on there. I dropped a developer link. We have this. Somebody else is doing this. Thomas R. Cult's the third. Oh, no, it's not.
Well, that's interesting. Where is he bringing the conversation in from?
Oops. I'm sorry that I accidentally just reset somebody's password. I don't know where he's bringing it in from, actually. But hold on. I do know this is possible. Let me just drop the link to the unofficial developer docs, which are also sort of official at the same time. So there's a link to the docs, and in those docs, there's a conversations endpoint, and you can add something into the conversation flow.
Very cool. Todd, LinkedIn. I've got a provider who is tying in to do initial outreach, etc., and it's also doing chat integration.
That's great, and also really good music at the same time.
Yeah, hoping that was my music, but hoping that that could be somewhere in the pipe. I mean, do I need to add that to the wish list, or is that something people
So like that's
have been
something.
wishing for?
No. So that's something they could do right now with So I actually worked with a LinkedIn provider, and I would love to do this with. There's lots of people who use these providers, but they're all black hats, so that's why we don't do it officially ourselves. And so I'm wondering if somebody can just use the API and just do the integration. That's what happened.
There are several people who have done it already, because those scraper tools, like Sean said.
I mean, the API is full featured. I mean, you could literally, not only could you throw conversation items in there, you could also bring in contacts and so forth at different stages. I mean, ideally, I assume that what those things try to do, right, is sort of like strike up a conversation, get that person to talk to you, then then it pulls their phone number and stuff, and then at some point, what they should do is just dump into HighLevel, right?
Right.
And I would think a natural, I almost feel like a natural point there would be like add to campaign. And then that's where you're like, hey, here's a link to my calendar, or I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. But the next step up though is to get those chats. I do a ton of my communication with potential clients in LinkedIn chat, Messenger, whatever you call it. Is there a way to link the comms from that into HL yet, or is it in the works, or?
So now I'm no longer at the mercy of Mark Zuckerberg. I'm now at the mercy of
Microsoft.
Yeah.
I get that, but my point was, these guys are doing it somehow.
Yeah. So the problem is they're one lawsuit threat away from shutting down.
Right.
I mean, it's funny. All these guys, like, they try to be all techie and stuff. But if I was Microsoft, I'd just stick my lawyers on them. I'd just be like, hey, just, keep avoiding our scanners all you want, but you do it again and we'll just sue you. How about that? Here's your personal address and here's your name.
Right.
We'll see you soon. Can't hide from the law. Right. But so what we're trying to hopefully get to, and I do think it's going to happen at some point, is the ability for us to actually use the LinkedIn Marketing Developer Platform API to reach out to them. So they're getting closer to this. I was just looking at, they have lead gen APIs in there. What they don't have yet, and by the way, the second that, they do have lead gen ads and stuff, but as soon as somebody corrects me on this, but as soon as they add in the ability to chat, we will 100% jump in and integrate the chat stuff. And I think we're getting closer to it.
Yeah, I assumed you would. I thought I'd let you know that I do have a vendor who is doing that. And
yeah, they're just not doing it legally.
Legally. Gotcha. I get it.
But if they want to integrate with us, I'm all for that, because that's not on me.
Yeah, those are cool. I've seen some people, and now that you can do the custom menu tab, you can iframe it all inside of HighLevel, so it feels like the scraper tool is part of HighLevel. It all works pretty cool. It's just not white hat.
Sorry.
Mary, will email campaign statistics going to be available in one central location instead of having to pop in and out of campaigns? That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. Let's
put it in the reporting tab.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Have an email reporting tab, or like a campaign reporting tab. I think that would be a stellar idea. Yeah, so we have a full-time reporting team, because we just assume that we're going to be doing reporting till the end of time. So that reporting team right now is working on the agent reporting. So after they're done with the agent reporting, we'll have appointment reporting next week. Agent reporting comes next after that. And so I don't know that that's a terrible idea, like a campaign report. It's just kind of a roll up. The other thing is, I think at some point we're going to go back out to the community and ask all of you what you're looking for on the reporting side, because there's a couple ways we could go here. There's a roll-up reporting, which I think could be really useful for all of you. I have this really cool idea what I think is a really cool idea for like a weekly success report that goes out to your clients automatically, that sort of tries to summarize all of the great stuff you're doing for your clients, to try to just remind them how awesome you are. That's something I really like the idea of. I think it could help with retention quite a bit. So yeah, but I think all of these reporting ideas are great, but just so you know, for now, we're out to the agent reporting, and then I think we'll stop and then come back and ask what you guys want to see next, or gals want to see next.
Cool. Looks like Paulson dropped in to let us know Marketplace 2.0 is on track with new packages and better experience. Hit him up if you have questions about that. Steve, if we want a form to be able to flow into another program, for example, an insurance request form, and I want it to auto-populate into a rating software, do you use a Zap and all I need to do is find the API code for the other software? Yeah, pretty much, Steve. You just need to create an API. So you can webhook out of HighLevel, and then you just need to build something on the other end to catch it and push it into that other software. So you'd want to hook up with someone like Anas or one of the other guys in the community, Tom, Fair, lots of people who could help you make that connection, assuming that other software is open. And that's where I think where a lot of us hit frustrations is our customers use these old EMRs and stuff that are walled gardens, and you can't get into them, but hopefully you can. Okay. Oh. All right, looks like we got to the end of those. Let me just take a quick scan in Facebook here. Maybe I missed it, but what's the status of the drag and drop email template builder?
out next month.
Oliver, hopefully you caught that. When will the mobile app allow for other currencies? It seems like everyone outside of the US is just an afterthought.
I mean, not intentionally. We are working on it. We have multi-currency in the web app. We do have language translation on the calendar component, so we're making progress. I promise we're we're not all like our president, but ultimately at the end of the day, we're it's just a slow progression. On the mobile app side, for the record, there's a massive redo of the mobile app coming where we actually focused, instead of just focusing yet again on more features, we're doing a massive speed upgrade. And there will be more features that come with it, but that's the big focus right now, just making it a lot more performant. And I anticipate that'll be out in another 3 weeks. But I will definitely file the multi-currency thing because I think that is an easy thing to do and kind of just something like no duh. So I'll ping that product manager now. And actually, to be honest, I don't know that I'm surprised it doesn't actually already do that. So it would be great if there was a specific screen that you could tell us doesn't work, or a specific area, maybe a screenshot or something, where it's like, hey, look, I've set the country code to the United Kingdom and pounds aren't showing up here. Because I'm almost certain the dashboard will switch, but it'd be great to know where you're seeing that.
Gotcha. Do we still have the URL set up for people to get into Slack, or are we not?
We're generally discouraging Slack, so only because sort of in general, so just for the record, Slack is not a place where we promise to do anything anymore. So like if you come into Slack, just understand that it's not a support channel. It's not there. It's generally these days more for people who are actually connecting with development, but I'm not going to kick anybody out and I'm not going to discourage anybody. I just want people to know, though, in general, we have live chat in the back of the app, and I paid FreshChat $2,500 last month for the pleasure so that we could help support you. And the big thing is measure and manage, right? The problem with Slack when we used to run it as a support channel is people would be upset because they wouldn't get a response back. And it's because, their message just keeps flowing up the page and somebody missed it in support. It wasn't personal or intentional. But with Freshdesk, we can very quickly ascertain like how many chats are we getting, how many are we answering, how long is it taking, all the KPIs that are important. And what's cool is if Ian was here, I would sing his praises because he's been able to actually move down the response times, and we're able to do things like do CSAT scores, and we've been able to move up the CSAT scores. So all that to say, if you really want into Slack, absolutely happy to have you, but just realize it's not a support channel.
On this note, I'm curious, throw into the chat. I don't think Sean's super excited about this, but would you guys be interested in a more robust community platform? Like instead of Facebook group only, like something like circle.so? Let me know if you would, because then I'll keep pushing it. And if not, then there's no point. All right, I think that's it for today. Is there a place where I can find open rates and reporting on if people clicked on a link in an email? So trigger link stats. Is there a trigger link report?
Oh, absolutely, yes. So whoever's asking that question, if you're in the system and you go into trigger links on the left-hand menu, there's an Analyze tab. And under that Analyze tab, you can get a full report of all the trigger links being clicked and all kinds of other good stuff, I believe. So definitely check out the Analyze tab under trigger links, which, by the way, for the record, is also underneath the marketing tab.
Sweet. Yeah, trigger links are awesome. More people should use them. Do I ask about beta calendar problem here? Where does beta calendar feedback go?
Sure. Go ahead. Nikunj is not here. He's in the hospital with kidney stones, so he'll be out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, happy to take the feedback. Happy to get some info, and then worst case scenario, I can at least pass it along.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really easy one. It's just I just was filling it out and keeps giving me, so I reformatted my phone number and it just keeps saying valid phone number even though it's valid.
So go into that location real quick for me, and can you just prove to me that you set the country code? So
where do I do that?
A company.
Company.
I may not have. Good question.
Nope, you did.
Okay.
It says United States. So,
okay.
So if we look at, can you just ace that out? Oh, wait, hold on. You're missing a digit, aren't you?
No, it added this +1. Like I typed in the number and then it added the +1.
Just nuke that real quick.
Okay.
Just take the whole thing out. Just start typing 352, whatever.
Okay.
Keep going. There.
Yeah, you were 1 digit short.
Yeah, you're 1 digit short.
I think it was, but okay. Yeah, no, I wasn't. 352. Oh, I was. Yeah, you're right.
Cool. Good.
Gosh dang it. Yep.
That's okay.
Cool. User error. ID 10T. Got it.
All right. I see 3 more questions here and then we're out of here. Moses, is there a way to prevent internal staff emails and empty contacts from being added into the contacts? And will there be a way to merge 2 contacts?
Merge contacts has got to be, I mean, hot off the presses here. I wonder if, hold on, let me just see. So merge contacts is coming very soon. I'm trying to get you a timeline actually, but we'll see if Varun can jump in real quick. But yeah, merge contacts is like, I almost think it's like in QA or something. Like it's really, really, really close. But as far as the bigger question though, for me is always the duplicates that are being created. Is there any, like, can we get some context? I don't know if you're in this meeting, but can you come off mute and give us some context on that?
Yeah, absolutely. One of our clients is getting a lot of new contacts added anytime they sync their calendar through Calendly. So anytime someone books a meeting, whether they're in the system or not,
okay, so
contact is
a couple
being
ways to
added.
fix this, I think. So A, use HighLevel's calendar because it's better. 2, on the Gmail sync, which is probably where that's coming from, right? Just set the sync to be 1 way. My bet is you have it set as 2 way. And we actually need to rename that. So I'm happy Varun popped in. People see 2 way and I think they naturally think that means, oh, you know what? Sync things out and sync things in. And it does mean that, but but it also means sync things in and try to create context out of them, fire triggers off them, that kind of thing. Versus 1 way. 1 way is 2 way. 1 way means sync things in, but just use the things you sync in to block off slots. Not
we're dropping that terminology. We're not going to use that anymore because it confuses people. So to just ask you whether to block slots or whether to fire triggers. So just break it down into questions instead of those silly questions. But yeah.
The other one is when they've got their Twilio number forwarded to a cell phone, and whenever someone responds or calls, that person is being added into the contacts as well.
That one just makes sense. That one just makes sense, I think. Because if I call the Twilio number, I'm a contact, right? I mean, I'm calling your business. I'm a potential customer.
But it doesn't look at, if the person already exists or not, because
yeah, but a lot of people are that way, right? So like, let's say you run a Google ad to a website and I see your phone number up there and I call you, like
that's a lead, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So how do we know that the person calling isn't a lead?
Yeah, it's more that, if internal staff is calling that number or anything like that,
so I would try to just
the number is
channels.
Forwarded. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
That makes
try
sense.
to separate the channels, like get another phone number somehow.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. So a couple of questions here, Varun, great timing around we all just learned that you can now push in conversations from outside sources via the Messages API into conversations. But it sounds like the community wants to be able to create a new conversation channel, like give it a name and have it.
So that really, the API doesn't exist, so I'm not sure. So is this the Twilio endpoint?
It's the create message
it's the
API.
chat widget one, I think.
It's the chat widget one. Got it.
No, and also there's create message API in the Postman collection.
So that's the same one that the chat widget uses.
That isn't the official API. So I think that's just the Twilio callback URL that we use that someone just documented. So if you send in a message from if you put in the from and to number, if that to number matches one of the contacts, it will go into the same conversation. If it doesn't match, it will create a new contact. But there's no way to send in the name, because it just matches on the to number. If the contact exists, then it puts this message into that same conversation. If the contact doesn't exist, it creates a new contact with just the
well, you know, for clarity, maybe this will help to, you know, to get where this is coming from. What I'm working on is integrating private Telegram chats and Telegram bots. So there's not going to be a from number, because a bot doesn't have a number. It would come from the @mycompany_name bot user in Telegram, and it would be, or rather, it would go from that bot to the lead and from the lead to the bot.
So we are working on not working yet. We are going to work on a new messages API. And with that API, I think all of this will be possible. So what you're asking about isn't just inbound, is if they type in a message inside HighLevel and hit send, you'd also want that to go back to that conversation, I'm guessing.
Right, yes. And also because you guys have been kind enough to tease about Dialogflow, now my mind is running. And of course, I want to integrate Dialogflow to Telegram, of course.
Yeah, so this is definitely something we're going to do this year. So we still don't have a solid timeline on this, but we've started working on the API docs. This Friday, we have a bunch of APIs going out. There's a developer, there's an integrator call that we're doing this Friday where we're pushing out a bunch of APIs. We'll keep that going, and the messages API is something on the list to where you can create channels yourself, and you can do both inbound and messages. Yes.
Awesome. I'll be sure to join that meeting.
Cool.
All right. Varun is here, so feel free to, if you're going to ask a deep question, good time to do it.
Funnel folders.
It isn't on the list yet. So we're going through, so right now with the funnels, what we're doing is we're adding a lot of features that we were missing, like the image pop-up, image feature, all of those components. And we're also adding themes in for the components. Right now with the progress bar, with the buttons, there's just one default theme. So we're adding themes in so you can style all of these components and you have different predefined styles to pick from. So that's what is going to get done over the next month. The minute that's done, we have split testing, which also seems important. But I'll see, maybe between this and split testing, we can get tags or folders or something in there.
Yeah, split testing is big. Please do that first.
Yeah, I think split, we'll get a big round of applause for split testing. It's one of those things that's bigger than people realize.
What about upon task creation trigger?
That should already be live. Hold on, let me double check. But yes, it should be live. If it's not, I'll see what's up. But this already passed QA and I saw it go out. Let me check.
Varun, is there any way you could integrate the main sort of funnel builder style into the memberships? Because at the moment, the memberships and the way you have to do sort of almost hand coding to sort of get things styled, and that is quite a radical difference to the rest of the app in funnel builder and website builder.
Yeah. So which part of the memberships do you want to style?
Really all of it. I've managed to do, Sean's helped me out quite a lot over the last few days, getting a few classes added, so I was able to do things manually. But obviously it'd be a lot easier to be able to style all the pages and things like that through the funnel builder type interface rather than through manually just coding everything.
Got it. So I'll see how we can, how we do something like that. And on the funnel, on the task created trigger, it does exist. It's called task added.
I see that now. Thank you.
I feel like there's some videos I haven't dropped on some features that have been released. So
I was gonna say, how did that slip by?
Could you look at the last week or something and just see if there's anything I haven't bothered to mention?
So I'll just send you a list of what went out in the last week. And then...
Thank you.
Varun, I think you need to have somebody knock out this free line item in the two-step, or James is just gonna hunt you down.
I've got a funnel. I'm just dying to launch it. I gotta have it.
So the problem we have is all of the people who work on the funnel, like one person's on the email builder, one person's just finishing out snapshots and memberships and just sticking on memberships. So we just have one person who's running.
What about the two? I thought we had two people working on funnels outside of Anish and Ashutosh.
No, just Sohail.
Oh, just Sohail. So what can you go? What's his like current task or tasks?
For Sohail?
Yes.
For what, to add in the line item?
No, like what is he currently working on in general? Like what's the next thing that's going to pop into the funnel builder tomorrow or the next day?
The elements.
Yeah, which elements?
Image feature is the next one out.
What's image feature? What? What is that one?
It's
Sorry.
It's a ClickFunnels thing where there's an image on the side and there's a text next to it and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So, and then the other question is, how are we prioritizing his list?
Based off feedback that we've gotten from customers, from Robin, from everyone.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's what I told everybody, that we have somebody full-time working on all these components. So they're just coming, because somebody asked for like slider, I think was one.
Hey, Varun, hey Varun, I have a question. Do you think it would be possible to focus on building like a little module creation thing where you could open it up to like developers, so that like, cause they could then just drop in like a JavaScript and you could open it up so where you give us the ability to set which fields and stuff. Like you could give us like a JSON config and all that and say, okay, so what fields and then what JavaScript to execute. And then that would open it up to the community to create all sorts of widgets and stuff like that that could be dropped in.
The ability to build custom elements for the funnel and the website builder.
I think that would speed the whole process of adding all these features and stuff to the funnel if we opened it up to the third-party community, because then we could have all sorts of free stuff.
And I think the community as a whole can build a lot of these components that we can't even think of. So I'll definitely run this down.
Cool.
That would be sweet, because then that answers all of the questions of like, hey, WordPress has a plugin that does this or a widget that does that, and you guys could just go to town.
Yeah, if you like it, go build
replicating those things.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, you know, our goal every day is, you know, we sort of keep talking about this, but, you know, we're trying to be the agency operating system, right? So we don't, you know, our goal isn't to build everything. Our goal is to rather build things that allow and enable other people to build things on top of what we have. So, because if we enable all of you, we should be able to get to a much better place a lot faster. Because A, we could never do it all ourselves anyways, and B, it's just a lot more fun to do it with you because all of you bring such great creativity and innovation, and it's really cool to see. So I just like to take a second to say thank you to the people who do that, by the way, because that's hugely appreciated. What else we got?
Yeah, now we've extended it. So I feel like there was all these people waiting for Arun, and here he is.
I know.
Where are the questions at?
I can keep asking questions if we have time.
Okay, here's one. Sorry, let me get to this one from Facebook. Is allowing for 2x of membership videos happening? I'm not sure what that means. If so, will I need to reload videos? Does that mean like double the size?
Playback speed, I think.
Oh.
Playback. Yeah, the membership videos right now for stuff like being able to trigger off whether video was watched, how much of the video was watched, all of those type of things. And as part of that, the player is also being worked on. I'll see if we can just put a player in that allows you to switch speed.
A workaround that I found is if you're using Chrome, you can use one of the extensions and they'll reach into the HTML video player and affect the playback speed. So if you're looking for something fast, it's not going to be pretty, but it's going to get the job done while you guys can build it.
if you don't mind me jumping in, I won't be able to make it to developer call on Friday. So I was just going to ask you a question. When you guys are going the route of kind of like a marketplace where we can build on top of HighLevel, and then other agency owners can install it in their account. So over there, I was thinking of like being able to almost, because sometimes if you're installing an extension, let's say a bot, for example, and that bot has to come with some predefined campaign or predefined messaging or whatever it is, being able to kind of load in a campaign or load in some triggers at the same time. It's almost like loading like a mini snapshot while you're loading my app that requires certain messaging that has to go out, for example.
Yeah.
I don't know if you kind of get what I'm saying over there.
We're still some distance away from the components. So I think this week what will go out is mostly APIs, contact opportunity, appointments, all of those APIs to fetch free slots.
Oh, wow.
So once these APIs are all out, I think then we move into, I think the messaging API will probably be the next big one, and then the ability to build components.
And Varun, I just had a quick question. So, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying.
This coming Friday, are we going to get the add contact where we can add updated contact by contact ID?
Yep, that'll be out.
Great.
Tom, do you want to, I mean, that was a big tease. Like, what does that mean to you? What is that?
It makes it so that we can integrate with other practice management software, where the communication between the practice management software and Go HighLevel, we don't want to expose protected health information. So that way the in-between thing doesn't have to bother about maintaining security practices and stuff like that as much.
Hey, which EHRs are you doing?
This one's just a very custom EHR, and they already are storing the contact ID, and they were expecting to be able to update it using that contact ID. But I'm
throw out Dentrix.
Oh my gosh, exactly, right? That is, we are very much looking at doing that though.
Well, they open their API program, they'll take your money again, so.
I know, exactly, right? No, but I was thinking of doing Sika, because Sika is gonna do everybody, but it's like $100 per location.
No, it's way bigger than you think. I don't know if I've gone down this rat hole twice.
Yeah.
It's like a jump to $40,000 initial cost.
With Sika?
It was. Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, it's $100 per location with a minimum of 50 or something, right?
They gave me the quote, but this was a year or so ago, of 5 locations at $100 per location.
Oh, great.
So now I already have an API, like I already have a developer account and everything in there.
That's great. Okay, yeah. So I've been on calls with like salespeople 6 times over. Just know that there's danger lies out there someplace. There's also some crazy dude in California that does this that's a Sika competitor, and then never ever tell the Dentrix sales guy you're working with Sika, because they'll just start cursing at you because they'll say Sika's in violation of our license and stuff. It's a pretty crazy world out there in the dental space.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Yeah, but I'm going to be doing some posts in terms of how people want to integrate and stuff, because I really want to have GHL Connect be like.
So I think there's a huge opportunity to monetize around EHR integration. So
yeah.
Chirosoft, Dentrix, MindBody, that kind of stuff. So there's lots and lots and lots of opportunity there, because I think if we can get one of those integrations out this year, whoever does that first will make a lot of money.
Totally.
For the record.
No pressure. The race is on.
James, good question. Are we doing, because we do this with mailgun validation, right? We have some centralized encrypted bank where we, if you validate, we'll check it first and try to save you that cost. Are we doing that for Twilio now too?
No, not yet.
We're doing it at the account level, right? The company level or the location level?
No, so for emails, we're doing it global.
No, I know that, but I mean for phones. Company
no, we're not doing it at all. So the same number will not validate twice. Even when you update the number, it doesn't validate. Only when you actually try to send to a phone number does it check.
Yeah, but is it stored at the location level or the company level?
It isn't. It's stored at the contact level.
Yeah, which is thusly within so the same contact in 2 locations in the same agency account validates twice.
with the same phone number, it will run the validation twice.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but we do have it on the list to fix that, I believe.
Yeah.
Cool. Color palette options for funnels coming. That's got to be on the list, right? Global colors and all that.
Global colors already exist today, I think. So James,
I don't think so. If you make a custom color on one page, you have to make it again on the next.
Oh,
I just did it yesterday too.
You want a custom to stick. Yeah, this is on the list as well. Yeah.
And Varun, if you just let us have classes, add classes to elements, then we could do all sorts of stuff. That's like, I think the last major problem with the funnel in the website builder is the fact that you can't add a class to the elements.
Second that one. That's a good one.
That class should persist every time you copy or duplicate the funnel and stuff. That way duplication becomes a lot easier.
Tiny MC David Watson, would you be able to have the ability to insert images? I thought we turned on drag and drop for the Tiny MC in memberships. No?
I don't think so. I'll add that to this.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked at the day and there was no image insert.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what if you look in the if you look in the email builder, or if you look in the email builder inside the campaign, you could just drag and drop an image in there. So we should be able to do the same darn thing in memberships.
Okay, thanks. Is there any chance of getting a media manager separately so you get into the images and things like that, and just upload an image?
Oh yeah, so you can have reusability across the app. Yeah,
Yes.
I actually do think we have that someplace, unless I'm misremembering things.
What is Tiny MC for the rest of us?
Oh, it's
MCE?
just it's the text editor that we use pretty much across the app. So any place you're editing, it's a rich text editor. So any place you see text editing, it's generally Tiny MC at work. It's just the thing that lets you bold text and italicize and
Gotcha.
all
Cool
that stuff.
I've had some success importing custom HTML, CSS, JavaScript templates into custom HTML elements in Funnel Builder. Who can I connect with to show my progress and maybe get some feedback? Whoa, who wants it?
I'm down.
I think we've got quite a few people on here that could help. Sean, did you just volunteer too, like a madman?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I can do anything, but I love seeing cool stuff, so I'm always down.
I think Sergio bailed. He's grayed out. Well, hopefully he finds somebody. Lynn, in the funnel website builder, when I set up custom brand colors, how do I delete ones I don't use anymore?
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to do that. I'll add that to the list.
Yeah, guys, just a quick one regarding the brand colors and stuff. Maybe there's a way to just kind of like, I don't know if you can do this now. Can you select like the colors, and then every time you build a funnel for that, it's all branded for that particular client, and then every time you build something, those colors are like defaulted?
Yeah, I think that's global colors that's as well, where you're able to have those colors stick across multiple pages. And I think once you can do the custom classes and you're able to do the global colors, you should be able to do that. Build a funnel with multiple pages for a client, and if you change it on one page, have that color reflect on.
Yeah, I don't want to have to write CSS for it. Is there like some kind of a user interface where we could just like select colors that we're using for paragraphs versus, other sections of the website?
Yes, we like a primary color and a secondary color that you can pick.
Right, fonts, the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we'll make sure that it's possible across the funnel.
Now, when I duplicate a page and for new content, I know it's going to fit the branding.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's it.
Holy moly, we did it.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks, Varun, for jumping in. Hope everybody has a great rest of your Wednesday. See you next week.
Adios.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Be well. Safe.
Bye.
Bye.